Good morning, everybody. Welcome back to South Summit Day 2. What a kickoff yesterday. So much fun. Oh my God. I think we started hard and fast early yesterday morning with Steve Wozniak. And that was kind of a dream come true, I think, for everybody here. He was a pretty amazing guy. So humble, so sincere. Followed on by Rajoy, Señor Rajoy, nada mal. And it's great to have him here and supporting the entrepreneurship community as well. And we had such interesting conversations going on yesterday. And we're going to start off just as strong and just as exciting today. I'm going to run through the program a little bit for you guys to explain the track of the conversations happening today on the arena stage. We're kicking off this morning with a track that we've named Beyond Your Limits. And starting right through from the first keynote to the first panel to the second keynote, right up to the coffee break, we're talking about challenges and obstacles and parallels between professional sports athletes and entrepreneurs. I am constantly overwhelmed by the people I get to meet and work with every other day because they are people that achieve incredible things, and they're constantly banging through these barriers to achieve something impossible. Whether it's a marathon, whether it's an Olympic medal, whether it's representing your country in your sport, or whether it's trying to hire the right team, or code out the right program, or get the right product to market, or raise that first seed round. I constantly see athletes and entrepreneurs push through incredible boundaries and barriers to achieve amazing things. So that's some of the conversation we're going to have this morning. Then we're going to continue on a little bit later talking about how to build billion-dollar businesses outside of the Valley. We're not in Silicon Valley. We're never going to be there. I far prefer Madrid, to be honest. And there's opportunities all over the world, and every day more and more in different parts of the world, incredible companies emerging. Later on, you're going to hear from Fadi Gandor on that billion-dollar business session, who's an incredible entrepreneur from the Middle East, based out of Dubai, that has built incredible companies from that region. We met Melly yesterday from Turkey that sold his company this year for $600 million. Biggest exit out of Turkey. There's opportunities right across the southern region, and we'll be hearing more about them. In the afternoon after lunch, we're going to continue on with the sector that's very close to my own heart, but I think a lot of Spaniards and people living in this region love too, which is food and food technology. Of course, last year we had Ferran Adria won our Disruptive Innovation Award. And Spain in particular, but all across the Mediterranean region, is such an incredible food culture. And we want to know, what are the opportunities in digitizing that sector? What are the new innovations and disruptions that we can bring technology into the space, into the food tech, into the agricultural scene as well, to make a difference and make it better and more accessible for everybody. And without further ado, I'm really excited to introduce our next speaker. We have a little surprise for you. We have a little change on what's on the program. Unfortunately, Nerdio Alessandri yesterday had an incident in Italy and couldn't travel. So yesterday we had a cancellation, an event organizer's worst nightmare. But the show will always go on. So what did we do? We do what we always do. We rang some of our closest, most amazing friends. Maria was late yesterday making a lot of phone calls thinking, exactly. How could we fill these shoes? And not only that, I think we've done even better. Our first speaker this morning is a local entrepreneur from here in Madrid, who's also an accomplished sports person. I didn't know this. Who represented his team for horse riding for Spain back in the day. What an incredible, exciting, adrenaline-filled sport. Not only that, this guy is an accomplished entrepreneur who's been disrupting and innovating in a more traditional sector, which is hotels, and more recently leveraging technologies to improve that service and constantly disrupt in the sector and launch into new markets. This morning, I am absolutely thrilled to introduce, and thank you so much for being here, Kike Sarasola, Roommate Hotels.
Hello. I'm Kike Sarasola. For several years of my life, I was a professional horseback rider. During that time, I fell many times off my horse, more than 500. But I always got back on. At times I felt afraid, very afraid. as the day I competed in the cross country at the European Championships in France. As I showered before the race, I realized I was terrified. I did not understand why I dedicated so many hours, efforts, and sacrifice to a sport in which I was risking my life. It was then, when I got back on my horse, when I realized why I was there. I understood that passion can beat all fear. I did not win. In fact, I came in third place. Bronze medal. The best result obtained ever by a Spanish rider. But deep down inside, I had conquered the first obstacle, my fear. In life, as in sports, the first hurdle is always fear. In 2004, I had a fall when I was preparing for my 4th Olympic Games in Athens. I was very close to being paralyzed. Fortunately, I recovered. I got on the horse again and returned to the competition, becoming second in the Spanish championship that year. But something had changed. I no longer enjoyed it, and I wasn't comfortable on the horse. I had lost both my drive and my passion. That day, I sank into darkness again. I had that feeling of insecurity and fear that I had felt during the competition in France. Then I remembered an old Arab proverb, a lesson about life and overcoming struggle that I want to share with you. It is better to light a candle than to curse the darkness. Always remember to fight fear with hope, passion, and excellence. They win it all.
Thank you. I still get excited when I see those pictures. No, it was 25 years of my life that I dedicated myself to sports. Sports has so much to do with business. It is parallel. When you're in sport, you're representing your country. I competed in 3 Olympic Games. I've been 4-time Spanish champion, bronze medal in a European championship. And I remember that it's so parallel now to my entrepreneurship and to my startups and to my company, because you feel so lonely many times. I know many of you, when you're in your businesses and you're having a rough time, or you're trying to raise money, or your idea doesn't get through to your clients, it's very tough. The same thing happens in sports. Sports taught me many things. It taught me discipline, which is very important in our business. It taught me to work in a time frame. In my sport, we used to work in time frames of 4 years, between Olympic Games. So it teaches you, if you tell me right now, for example, where do you want to be with your company, I can tell you exactly where I want to be in 4 years' time. I work backwards. In 4 years' time, I want to be in Asia. I want to have such and such hotel. But it's very important to be very disciplined and to know what you want and the goals. Of course, there's tough moments. One of my nicest moments in my sport career was when I was walking behind our King Felipe, coming into our Barcelona 92, when we had the Olympics in my country. And I was walking behind him, and you go into your stadium full of your country, and you're representing them, and they're applauding you. And at the same time, the loneliness you feel, because you feel such responsibility. It's more or less the same responsibility you feel when you take money from your parents, from your friends, and you're doing your company, and my God, the things are not working, and you feel so lonely. It's that same feeling. At the same time, you're happy to be there and happy to be doing it, but at the same time, it's that feeling. That's what happens also in sports when you're in competition. From sports to business, like I say, for me, it's helped me a lot in learning how to deal, especially with failure. There's 2 words which I would love to ban from the dictionary: success and failure. Success and failure are, when you're in sports, it's like Rafa Nadal. He can win Roland Garros today, and then tomorrow he starts in Wimbledon from 0 again. That's what business is, no? You have to start doing your business, thinking about it, and maybe it goes right, maybe it goes wrong. The important thing about being an entrepreneur and of being somebody who's really consistent is you can fail many times. It's very important that if you fail, you get up and you do it again, and you try again. Then in the States, which is, for me, I love America, I love the way of thinking, how they do business. When I see a CV, a curriculum from somebody in America, the first thing they put is, I failed twice, I failed 3 times. And I'm here because I learned, and I'm here still pushing for it. When I receive a CV from anybody here in my country, it's absolutely flawless. Nobody has failed. So I never take any CV with that because, first of all, I don't know if they're going to know what happens if they fail, if they're going to be able to recuperate, if they know what happens if something goes wrong. So it's very important. Everybody should be proud. I'm supposedly now, I'm in fashion. Everybody says, oh, Kike is successful. Yes, but I just started a startup of a business center in the middle of when the real estate market was very expensive, and I had to close it down 2 years later. It doesn't matter. You learn from it. Next time, I'm never going to do that kind of business again when the real estate market is high. But you learn. And if you're really an entrepreneur, you get up and you do it again. Magic of traveling. Thanks to my sports, I lived 300 days a year. I would be living in hotels. So what did I do? I took into my traveling to see what I liked and the magic of traveling. All of you, I think you love to travel. You love experiences. So I would be traveling all the time. And every time I would go to a city and I would find a friend in that city, that city would change for me. My friend would tell me where to go, what restaurants to visit. So the city changed for me. That's why when I started my hotels, roommate hotels, first thing I said is, what do I want to tell my customers? I want to be your friend in the city. That's why each one of my hotels has a face and a personality. I give each one of them, for example, Pau is in Barcelona, and he's passionate, seductive, he's thoughtful. And Grace is in New York, she's creative, multicultural, she's lively. With that profile and with that face, I go to a famous decorator and I tell him, decorate this fictional friend's house. This one is more lively, this one is more classical, but each one is different. I believe nowadays in any product, and in my business especially, you have to give emotions. You have to give the magic of traveling. Oh my God, you guys, all of you know that in the 90s, there was this famous chain, which I love to say this joke, and they hate me, he's my friend, but there was this fantastic chain in Spain, which was all the hotels were exactly the same. You didn't know if you woke up in Seville, in Barcelona, or in Toledo. I'm not going to say the name of the chain. I'm just going to say the initials, NH. And it was exactly, so it is true, they were exactly the same. So I say, what's the matter with this? I'd like to do something different. So that's how we started in our hotels, and we changed. Another thing that you learn in sports is to use common sense. So if you are preparing in my case, with my horse, if I was preparing a championship that was 2 months away, you had to have a lot of common sense to do, oh, I want to jump today. But if it wasn't in your program or it wasn't in the training of the horse, you had to really stick to your training and use common sense and to know the things that were important. When I go to a hotel, there's 3 things that for me are very important. The bed, the shower, and the breakfast. SBS, like I like to call them. If you go to any of my hotels, you will find that the shower, the bed, and the breakfast are exactly the same. The decoration changes completely. I have modern hotels, I have classical hotels, but the basics, which is something that I like to tell everybody, go back to basics, go back to the root. Find what it is your client really likes, and that, if you find it and they say they like it, don't change it. We have not changed the beds, the shower, and the breakfast in any of our hotels because our client likes them since the beginning. Another thing that I use, you are users of everything. If you don't like to use your own product, you're starting on the wrong foot. When I go to a hotel, especially in the northern countries, breakfast finishes at 9:30. Hello? I want to sleep until late. I've gone out last night. I want to have a nice time. Why does the breakfast finish at 9:30, 10? In all my hotels, breakfast finishes at 12 o'clock in the morning. Just that little difference has made us go up in the reviews incredible. We did that since the beginning. If my room is not rented until 7 o'clock the next day, why am I going to make my customer come out at 12, knocking at the door? You can do late checkout. What happens? I like extra pillows. What happens, for example, I don't know if you guys have noticed, but it's my big fight with the hoteliers. The more you pay for a hotel, the more they charge for the Wi-Fi. I mean, this cannot be. This is absolutely ridiculous. That's something that should be for free. So, of course, in my hotels, Wi-Fi is free. When I started listening to my clients, which is something that I always tell my staff, and you would not believe who has given me the best ideas. It was the cleaning girls that clean the rooms that are in contact with my client that give me the best ideas that we have had in my company. Why? Because they listen to the lady who's complaining. They listen to the gentleman who says, we need more hot water and we need more towels. They gave me an idea. They said, Kike, everybody, especially when they're coming from America, they're complaining. Why isn't there enough Wi-Fi in Spain? And I said, my God, that's true. In Spain, in America, there's much more free Wi-Fis, and we didn't. So what did we do? We went to an internet company and we said, okay, I want a little machine just as big as this, and whoever reserves directly in my web page, that way I don't have to pay commission, one, and the client is happy. I let them take this little machine, this little router, and they can hook up 6 different iPhones to this router, put it in their pocket, and walk around and have free Wi-Fi in all the city. That is something that we invested in it. It was very good. And when I go to yesterday, I was in a hotel convention with other hoteliers, Spanish, very boring. And I told them, listen, guys, I have invented this. It's brought up my sales incredibly, and I want to give you the name of my producer so that you guys can do it as well for your clients. Please do it. Copy me, because if you do something correctly, I'm going to copy you. And if I'm doing something right, I want you to copy it. Why? Because it helps the city. If all the hotels in the city have free Wi-Fi, we will have better guests coming, clients will be happier to come, and we can raise prices and we can do a better job. So I gave it to them. Nobody has called me. That's my country. I mean, so sad. But anyways, tough luck for them. The roommate smile. Gentlemen, smiling is for free. You have to get your client, your people who work for, we call them roomies because our company is called Roommate. The best way to travel is visiting a friend. So my roomies have to smile. If they don't smile, they can go and work in NH or in any other company, but not in mine. Smiling is for free. And nowadays, we have big competition, especially in tourism in my country, because we have the Asian countries where they say, "Sawasdee" with a smile. Or you go to South America, and they tell you, "Good morning, sir." My God, I'm not expecting the taxi driver who brought me to give me a kiss in the morning, but at least to say hello when I get in the taxi. So we have to change that attitude. We have to smile. We have to think that the client is important. For me, I don't look at other hoteliers, what they do. I just look at my client, and I ask him, what do you want? What do you need? That's how, in my company, I like to tell my roomies, guys, we have to make love to our clients to make them come back. Don't give them a quickie. We have to make love to our clients. No does not exist. I mean, that is something that in Spain we say, can you help me with tickets for the Real Madrid? No, but let me try. The no is the first answer. So that's something I'm really pushing to change in our country. They betted one day for me, I bet you don't bring a blue horse to the door. I brought him a white one. He paid for it. I said, you see, we do. And Roommate, we get you whatever you want as long as it's safe and legal. Location, location, location. That is the mantra of hotels and mantra of many companies. It is true. In my hotels, we have hotels in Gran Via, in Times Square. We have 21 hotels in operation. We started our company 10 years ago, and we're opening 12 more hotels in the next, we have 21 in operation, and we open 12 more in the next 10 years. And global, please. Whoever doesn't think global today is really stupid. All the time the press is asking me, when did you start going international? And I'm like, how can you ask that question nowadays? We are all international. I consider myself that I went international since the moment I put a foot outside of Madrid, which is my city. My 4th hotel was in New York. My 6th hotel was in Miami. My 8th one was in Amsterdam. I went global since the beginning. What happened? I remember a very important hotelier. I'm not going to say his name because he's a very good friend of mine and he's one of my top hoteliers. But he thought it wrongly. One day I had dinner with him 7 years ago, and he told him, I said, listen, I'm going to go out and I'm going to do my hotels international. And he said, Kike, you're crazy. When we have so much tourism in Spain, I'm going to, and I remember he wrote in a map, he wrote, I want Spain, and I'm going to put 18 points more. He already had 80 hotels. I want to put 80 points more, and I want focus on Spain. I got home, and I asked my husband, Carlos, look at what happened. Our friend has told me this. What should we do? And thank God my husband has very set ideas. And he said, Kike, you always thought you were going to go international. Go international. Don't change your ideas. Don't change your focus. And I did. What happened? This friend of mine has almost gone broke because all the Spanish crisis hit him so hard. And what happened? I had 70, 80% of my income coming from abroad thanks to going international since the beginning. I'm going to show you a few of my new openings. I'm opening 12 more, but this is Milan, right next to El Duomo, and it's decorated by a very famous decorator called Patricia Urquiola. This one is in Malaga, in Plaza de la Marina, right next to the sea. It's very beautiful. It's done by Victoria Melian. This was in Istanbul. We're opening 3 hotels in Istanbul. We believe a lot in Turkey, and we are going to open 3 more. This one is beautiful. It's done by Lázaro, a very famous decorator from Barcelona. This is Barcelona. It's going to be in Paseo de Gracia with Aragon, and it's called, Lorenzo Castillo is going to do it. This was going to be called Ana. As you see, they're all in central locations. Some of them are classical, some of them are modern. I want my client to have an experience each time they come to one of my hotels. My team, as when you work in sport, you know you have to have a team. I can be here talking to you because my team is opening 2 hotels for the next month. And the team is the most important thing that I have. Communications. I'm all the time. Anytime I see a microphone, I'm talking on the microphone. I have to communicate. You have to do. Nowadays, communication, if you don't communicate, you do not exist. Don't try to invent water. Everybody's telling me, oh, Kike, you invented. No, I don't invent. What I do is I like to see a project that I like, and what I try to do is better it. I knew that I did not find a hotel that I wanted to stay in, and what did I do? I made my own chain, and I made it better with the things I liked. And my next company that I'm going to tell you about in a little bit has been the same thing. I did not find what I liked, but I wanted and needed in the market, and that's what I have changed. This is one of my rooms, and this is the beginning of my next startup, which is, this is my hotel in New York. And in my hotel in New York, we had a room called Family Room. It's a beautiful room with 4 bunk beds. Each one has its television, and each one has its headphone. And it has a big bathroom. So it's perfect for a family with 2 kids, for girlfriends who are going shopping, for friends who are going partying, for anything. And we had this booked all year round. So we took it out of the commercial market and we commercialized it ourselves directly. And we started asking, why is this? Why is this room being so demanded? And we saw that the people were traveling in a different way. They weren't asking for rooms of 2 people. They were asking for bigger rooms. So that's how I came up with B-Mate. And what is B-Mate? B-Mate is the following. When last year I was in Madrid, and the Hotelier Association, one of them came to me and said, Kike, you have so much presses in the press. We want you to join us to do a strike and to prohibit this company from America called Airbnb. I had never heard about it, and I said, wow. First of all, prohibit is something against my principles. I hate to prohibit anything. I don't want anybody to prohibit anything to me, so I don't want to do it to anybody else. Second of all, I don't like to do a strike. So I said to them, listen, let me study this company. And I started studying this company, and I said, wow, what a company. This is something amazing. What a success story. And then I sat down and I said, okay, why have I not used this company? First of all, because I have a certain age, and I've heard bad stories that sometimes the apartment exists, sometimes the apartments are not what the picture shows. So first of all, security that you're going to find is a big problem. Second of all, at my age, well, maybe I want them to clean the apartment, or I want a nanny for my daughter, or I need a cook. And I said, okay, this company is very good, but it doesn't attend my needs. And I started asking between my friends, raise your hands, how many of you have used Airbnb? Okay, you'll see the average age is below 30. And the rest of us who are over 30, many of us have not used it for these reasons. So that's when I started looking, and first thing I did was took one of my hotels, the Oscar, in the center of Madrid, and I said, a kilometer radius around Oscar. How many apartments are in the platforms? And I found that there were 360 apartments around that hotel of mine. I said, my God, it's not that we're going to prohibit them, they're already here. So what did I do? I took my team, and we sat down, and we decided, what we are going to do is, we are going to, instead of having all the apartments that Airbnb has in Madrid, 10,000, 20,000, and they all can go and join Airbnb, I'm going to do a select club. And I'm going to find, around my hotels in the center of the cities, I'm going to find between 500 and 1,000 apartments that I go and see, that we approve, and if we don't like the pictures that they have, we send our photographer. So those apartments are guaranteed, and all of you know that when we say in B-Mate that we have this apartment, it's good, and these are the pictures, they exist. It's true. So we give you a guarantee, number one. Second of all, you can use, because we use the center as a center point, we use our hotels. You can pick up the keys 24 hours a day in our lobbies. You can leave your suitcases 24 hours a day in our lobby. And most important of all, you have concierge service 24 hours a day. This is very important because how many of you have heard, oh, I got late to the apartment and the guy at 3 o'clock in the morning was angry because he had to wake up. Then you have the suitcases. Or what happens if you go with a family and you need a doctor at 3 o'clock in the morning? Who do you call? So we can give you all those services from our hotels for the same price, a little bit more than Airbnb. And then, which is very important, we give you a menu of extra services. Cleaning, nanny, you pay for what you want and for what you need. So what are we doing? We are giving you unique apartments in the center of the cities with hotel services, especially targeted at a different target than Airbnb, targeted a bit older. So when I started in hotels, I found the same thing. When I started with hotels, I had the 5-star hotels, very expensive, and then you had the Pensión del Peine, which are hostels, and that's where I put my roommate hotels, in the middle, catered to somebody that wanted affordable luxury in the center of the cities with a lot of decoration. I found that there was the same niche in the apartment sector. You had the apartments, full-star, full-service, very expensive, very good, but they gave you drivers, butlers, everything, but very expensive. And then you had the other platforms, which are fantastic, but they don't give you service. And that's where I put BMate. So what is BMate? BMate is unique apartments with hotel services. And you can pick up your keys, pick up and deliver the keys, luggage. You can have reception 24 hours a day. And now we have put something, all these, well, these are the extra services that you do on demand. And how do we do that? Something new that we have just put up into our platform, we have put a city mate. Because many times when you come to a city and you don't know what is in the city, you don't know anything, you need somebody to help you. So we have one of our boys or girls to be waiting for you when you arrive in the apartment, give you the key himself, go up with you to the apartment and verify that everything is fine. What is this? We want to become a safety net. I don't want to have 20,000 apartments. We want just to have 10% of the apartments, and we want to cater to you specially, to do you the trip of your life. These are some of the apartments that we have. Very cool, very nice. We have in Madrid, in Barcelona. We have in 10 cities where we have roommate. And now we're coming to agreement with other big hotel companies to be able to expand in 25 other cities and to have other hotel chains become our hotel ambassadors. This is Amsterdam, and this is roommate. Gentlemen, thank you, Maria. Thank you, South Summit, for inviting me. It's a pleasure. And now, I think we're going to do some questions. We have time for a few questions. We do? We have time for some questions? Okay. Please, I would like some questions. Who's going to be the first one? Nobody? Hay una pregunta. Ahí. Ahí arriba.
Morning.
Hello.
Just a simple question. What do you consider one of your biggest failures in this roommate process?
In the roommate process, what do I consider one of my biggest failures?
Failure, obstacle that you had to overcome.
Well, one of my biggest
Challenges.
obstacles that I had to overcome was, it's at different times, different stages. At one point, it was finding finance. Well, at one point, it was finding buildings and hotel owners that would believe in my idea. Then at another stage, it was finding finance. And now, it is not having enough time to run as much as I want. Somebody else? Aquí.
Thank you for your energy. Thank you. It was great to listen to you.
Thank you.
Now, I would like to ask you, where do you see your company in 4 years? It's really very far away, but let's say 2 or 3 years. How do you see it? I mean, where do you see yourself? Talking about the roommate Olympics.
The roommate. Well, in roommate, Roommate is like it's like a baby. I have a fantastic team now. So Roommate is going to grow, because our model is very scalable. You have to think it's really, where our principle is bed, shower, and breakfast. And we're like a boutique bed and breakfast in the center of the cities with a lot of decoration. So our model works everywhere. Right now, our expansion in the next 4 years is going to be North and South America and all of Europe. That's with Roommate. And with BMate, it's a technological company right now. So we're in Roommate, it has its rhythm. We want to reach 50 hotels by the end of middle of next year in Roommate. But with BMate, we're going much faster. We're going to have, from here to January, we're going to have 28 new cities incorporated, and it's completely different. And we're going at different speeds right now. So, I mean, no limit. I'm very ambitious, so I want to go very far. I brought new shareholders. In Roommate, we already have shareholders. It's something very important that I tell you. Always choose your right shareholder. I was very lucky, and I brought the Zara family in with me 3-4 years ago, so that was a very good help. And now in BMate, we brought in a very good angel investor and a very good technological investor, and we're looking at more investors a bit further down. We're going to do another fundraising in January.
Question is, how did you, I mean, it's quite a big jump to go from being a horse competitor in the Olympics to owning a hotel and then expanding into, like, I mean, just making that jump from kind of horse rider and then convincing people that you're the guy that can run hotels and all of that. Like, how did you go about that process of, like, converting from horse racing?
Oh my God, it was very difficult.
Owning a hotel.
It was very difficult, but I always used hotels, so I knew what I liked and what I didn't like. So it was difficult. The first times we used friends, fools, and family, so they convinced me that we bought a little small 30-room hotel. So I managed to have one showcase, which was that first hotel, and I would take everybody there, and it was 30 rooms and very small, and I convinced them. But it's been difficult. First of all, that they believed that I was a hotelier. They didn't accept me as a hotelier and convince me. Then the other hoteliers started bad-mouthing me, saying, no, the hotels for Sarasola are hotels for gays. And I had to come out in the press, no, I'm the gay one, not my hotels. So it was a big process of convincing people and telling them, listen, this is a business, and right now it's completely, it's a real rocket, and Roommate is going really, really well. I think that's it, gentlemen, creo. Thank you. Thank you.